KSL coming for you. KSL coming for you.
AJ's management company, 258 Management, they're on their way. Okolie, this weekend, the Source brought the belts. And AJ is about to become a staple in boxing.
Mogul.
Yo, look, I can do it like money made, glamorous ting. 12 round unanimous ting. Casual fans on the analyst ting. That ain't KG and Travis's ting. That's undefeated, undisputed like Lennox. Do it on points, jab your head off. Who tried to say that AJ fell off? Must have never had Nigerian jello.
Yo, what's going on, people? Welcome to another episode of the Undefeated podcast.
The only podcast with two undefeated fighters.
Chatting it up. Bro,
come on.
Listen, before we even get there,
you know,
like, subscribe, and share this after you watch it.
Share it. Don't hold on to it. Don't be selfish. Share this with those who need this.
Send this to the man them.
Send this to the man them, to the gal them, to any of the dems. But it should
all
get
of
them.
them.
All of them. But yeah, seriously, send this, post this. Like, it's gonna get us in front of the eyes that need to see this, people. Anyway, bro,
what's your tail of the tape?
Gee, I'm 0-0, fam. Never fought, never lost. But if I did, someone gets knocked out, and it's not me.
I respect that.
But bro, what's your tail of the tape?
My tail of the tape, boy, my record, it's a perfect one. 2-0, 50% knockout rate. I mean, that's a lot of bodies. Half the men that enter the ring with me, bro. Come on, they left on their back, fam.
That's what they did. One day I'm gonna get the applause because one day I'm gonna get that knockout that we've been looking for. Still, a lot of man was a bit disappointed in me with the post that we put out with the Arms Corleone thing.
Has Arms Corleone got back to your challenge?
You know, when I don't know how you put that together, but I didn't like what I saw in the comment section. A lot of men were like, KG, I'm disappointed in you, bro. You should know muscles ain't everything. I was like, you fight him.
It's techie still.
I said, you fight him. When this man's doing different kind of hydraulic training, fam, I said, you fight him. And I'm not going to lie, I checked his star sign. I heard he's a Sagittarius, fam. I don't want it, fam. That's an one.
You might catch him in retrograde though. You never know, fam.
But obviously, if you call Monday Night Smoke again for our audio only listeners, the people that don't actually catch Monday Night Smoke, please go back. Bass has put himself on another level when it comes to fight breakdowns.
He tried to tell us
astrology.
When a guy says that this guy's a good champion because he's a Capricorn, you got to say to yourself, how deep are we going with this combo? Man said, listen, moon base, winter solstice. It's all in his favor tonight.
Base is a legend. So now they're calling him the Star Keeper.
The Stargate Keeper.
The Stargate Keeper. Listen, Base, thank you so much, man. It's people like you that we need.
You know what I got in the comments? Somebody said to me, he goes, you need to get into the DMs as well, Trav. Don't let KG just be out here with the DMs. So I thought to myself, right, like, what are you saying? I should be DMing KSI? So you know what I did? I went to KSI's page and I thought, let's see what's there. Fam, I've been DMing this guy already.
Of course, and that's not even you know. That's Trevor Rex. I'm convinced,
Fam, Look, not even joke. Look, this is KSI's page. Hold on, let me come out. There we go. KSI's page.
Yeah. I believe.
When I hit message, I'm in there. I'm tagging him in the Lennox thing. I'm tagging him in my highlights. There's me saying, let's go.
Wow.
I've been in his DM.
No, you're flagrant.
I wanted.
See, he's knowing.
Let me even show the video.
Yeah, play it, please.
Back in the gym. Man like Latif. Session was a madness. KSL coming for you. KSL coming for you. I'm back in the gym. I'm coming for you, bro. You just stay running for me. Keep fighting the YouTubers, fam.
And then there's the number one.
So he's got up now. I think he's about to come there.
I'm tagging him in my own highlights.
Nearly, mate. Bang. Watch the walk away, though. Flip me. The walk away. What a moment. So the referee waves it off.
I've tagged him in it. It's mad, bro.
No. You're moving. Only Trevor Rex could send a message like that, though.
tagged him in like, bro, I don't think you realize, yeah. I thought that I hit the lick when Lennox sat down and said, yeah, I'll train you. Absolutely, I'll train you. I thought, oh my days, this fight is happening.
Yeah.
It just never happens. So
He's putting out albums, bro.
Is what it is though, fam.
Yeah,
what else can I do, fam?
All you can do is keep calling him out until we get bigger. Because do you know what the killer is, bro?
Yeah.
We will meet him at some point.
My only concern is by the time we get there,
Yeah.
I'm thinking to myself, I don't really think that's beneath me right now. You know what I mean? Man's got my own millions at that point. Stay up and
Yeah.
A whole training camp. You know how busy I am.
But I think bro, I can get you going. Now I know the mechanics of how to get Travis going. It don't matter how much money he's got. I'll whisper something in your ear, bro, and you be like, I'm fighting.
I'm on smoke.
It doesn't take long, bro. Sometimes I enjoy it. Like, it's one of my favorite pastimes to just piss you off. Yeah.
And you know what the maddest thing is? While it's happening, in my head I feel like, he knows what he's doing. But then another part says, but still don't have it. And I'm just committed. Ridiculous, bruv. All you gotta do is my triggers is just be on some but Anthony Yard 8 levels with Boissy. Gone.
If I mention hey in a very disrespectful way, yeah, I know what ones it takes still, to be honest, to just be like, but it is what it is. Like,
trying to be a better person, fam.
Nah, you will never change. You are who you are, fam.
It's true.
That's it. Let's go, man. Actually, can we do something for the audio listeners? Once again, cool. Travis, I don't want you to do something reckless. So I'm going to talk to them first, and then you can go off my lead. Hopefully off my lead. All right, cool. So right now, you're at the lights, yeah? At the lights, I want you to indicate for no reason and go the other way.
Wow, you said don't do nothing reckless, and that's your advice. Here's what I think you should do, guys. If you're driving on a motorway, indicate left, wait for a good opportunity to go when it's nice and clear, move into the left lane.
That's good. That's actually really good. No, seriously, all our audio and silent listeners, we know you're out there. We see it. We don't see you, but we know you're out there because you talk to us.
We see the numbers.
We see the numbers. Thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Wherever you're listening, Spotify, iTunes, however you're listening, we appreciate you. We understand you're not really like coming into the other like this stuff, but please never miss when we do a watch along. It's the best way to watch boxing.
Oh yeah, man.
You're missing out.
Seriously, it's like I get people messaging me saying, "Yo, guys, it's like watching with a group of friends."
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like you still get the comfort of being able to watch it with nobody in the way or talking over but you still have that man feel.
Yeah.
All I can say is this is just a taste of what it's gonna be like when we have our live events.
Talk the things.
And we're watching. Oh, listen, that night when we did the AJ thing, sold out event. I know for a fact the next whenever we can get back into public space, we are going to have a vibe.
Yeah. Anyway,
people are gonna have to travel from wherever.
You'll get me excited.
We might have to do a couple pods, fam. London one, go Manchester, go wherever, bro.
Yeah. We have to respect the fan base, fam. And now
the demographic
we're starting to build up in Nigeria. You know, a motto. He's got to host us. We'll come out there, you know what I mean? Do a
we'll crash at Motto's house.
He's got to put on trousers though.
It's his house, fam.
Nah, he's got to put on trousers. No, for that, he's got to put on trousers. All right, cool. Let's get into these. Let's get into
the comments.
Right, 89 comments. How do we
even? The comments were flagrant in this app, bruv.
Wait, where do we go? Here we go. They go. The Dockers 22 says elite Hay impression. All of his impressions are elite, to be honest.
Yeah, I like impersonating David Hay still.
Vibes FC says Travis moving like Eddie Hearn trying to promote KG versus True Jordy. It's true, you know. Hey. I just woke up and I was in a fight, bro. He ain't got back to me though. He ain't got back to me.
Man said Ash I says Travis, I respect you, but I've had enough of your American disrespect. Ooh. So I even got in the comments for that one. I said, what did I say? He goes, nothing crazy. It's just every time you reference him, it's always something to do with a fighter being chinny. I'm like, fam, listen. He's stained his reputation by getting sparked out that many times. That's all it is, bro. I know Amir Khan was serious in his day.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna talk about Amir Khan because he's got something coming, something on the
Oh,
cards.
fam, he's giving us what we apparently needed. Alright, so this conversation was interesting. Yeah, this is from Don Tony Esquire,
Let's go.
and under this chat, there's like 49 comments, bro.
Yeah, it's
So,
the maddest one.
Last episode, we mentioned how there's a lot of factors that play into why somebody is a fan of a fighter, right?
Mm.
We spoke about Fury and some of the comments he's made and those some insensitive remarks he's made where race is regarded, Winston Churchill stuff, all lives matter, in the midst of the Black Lives Matter stuff and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
So Don Tony said, hate to play devil's advocate again, but you guys brought up the issue about race and said how if AJ had a drug ban like Fury, people would never stop talking about it. Okay, fair. But let's talk about AJ's private message to Eddie Chambers, saying how he's a disgrace to the superior black race. Now, that's quite a racist comment. Had Fury messaged a white fighter saying you're a disgrace to the superior white race, the guy would be cancelled and labelled a racist to no end. Also, imagine if Fury rocked up to a gathering of white people and got on a microphone telling them to only shop in white shops. Come on, lads, let's be real. Now, what I liked about this exchange was that there was a lot of back and forth in the comments. And so there's a couple things there. So I came back in, I commented quite early in the thread and said, we'll talk about it because obviously we didn't have a pod when that message was sent. So we would never have had a need to even deep dive. So I looked into it in regards to the message that AJ apparently sent.
Yeah, because I don't know about this one.
Well, this is the thing. So I looked into it and there was literally no conclusive thing on it. Like AJ's guys came out and said, look, he said it was hacked. And that was literally the last that was spoken on. Now, I don't know what we can do with that to discuss further. Do you see what I'm saying? Because it's that
AJ
one
coming out
like,
and saying this, AJ coming out and saying the superior. Listen to. Sometimes you got to look at a man and look at his track record and things he said in the past and kind of calculate if it makes sense. It's almost you can hypothesize. You look at someone and say, okay, let's look at all the things he said. Would he have said that? Now you lot know how I talk. Very reckless at times. You kind of know what I will say, what I won't say. Travis as well, you're used to his voice. AJ coming out and saying the superior, putting out a messaging someone and saying the superior black race.
That doesn't feel like
it just doesn't fit in the narrative that we've heard from AJ. Now, even the one time that he even spoke was a letter that wasn't even his. And on that, because we're the argument.
That's a separate subject. I want to address that one separately.
Because I would like to. Yeah. Are we here? Or are we not here?
Yeah. Let's not get there yet. Because that's a separate conversation.
Okay.
Just that message, like if it's how it was left. Literally, it was left on a that was a hack.
Yeah.
There was no further there's a video of Eddie Chambers looking into the message and hitting the profile and showing that it goes to his real page. But because they're not denying that, they're denying that he even sent the message at all. So it's a weird one to just be like, he said it, he's this, he's that. But it's like it's not the same as when you've got a documented thing of somebody saying it.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, Eddie Chambers is not someone that he would have ever had on his radar to be even fighting. So it's such a weird out of the blue.
It's an unnecessary. It's not thinking out AJ moves. That just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. And we can say that. Sometimes you can say, "Aye, that fits." When you look at the R. Kelly situation, a lot fit. You know what I mean?
It's music.
It's not hard to work it out. It's like, you know what? Yeah, that happened.
There's
certain people that you can say, okay, your talk has always been in this fashion.
It's in line with that.
It's in line with how you speak. So, and that's what I think, because now we're moving into this, we're in the digital age, but in an age where anyone can create whatever you want to create. We can, as basic people of the public, can superimpose ourselves, ourselves, we can fake anything now. So we need to we have to have, we have to be smart as consumers. And actually understand we have to decipher, and it's very difficult because, bro, there's this Kevin Hart video. There's this guy that supposedly looks like Kevin Hart. I don't know if it's
a deep
real.
Fake.
I can't.
No, I'm telling you. I looked into it. It's a deep fake.
But it's crazy because you got Kevin Hart actually talking about it, which almost brings life to it and makes it feel real. Like you don't know. The problem is we're in a stage now in society where we have to start asking the deeper and harder questions. What's going on here? And actually judging the man, looking at the person. And obviously this can seem like, you lot are just doing the ultimate capping for a person. But you have to say this is not matched up to anything he showed us before.
And the thing is, at this point, there's a long enough track record to assess behavior and be like, have you even talked trash to an extreme level?
Never.
Properly before?
Never.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like, the trash talk has constantly been off key. That's not an off key message. That's a very that's someone who's like, no, I'm trying to pierce you.
Yeah, and the trash talk is not really. We've seen anytime AJ's ruffled or feels like someone's got to him. The last person that got to him properly was Needle. Yeah, that's it. Big Baby Miller. Yeah, and he followed him and he tried to scrap him on the slide. So if AJ's got an issue, you imagine every time that AJ gets rattled by someone, like if the press conference is happening, we've seen it. He's having a press conference and someone changes their tone or changes their tact. Charles Martin, there's another guy that he fought where he's like, wait, no, don't do that. And then he becomes, AJ comes out. Because he's like, no, we're not talking here. I'm going to punch you up when I see you. So we know that's been his MO. For him to now go into the DMs and be like, I'm the superior race. It just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. That doesn't fit. And what almost gives it some energy and some life is how the message of what AJ was saying on that day, how that was turned and twisted. And remember, things can always be hijacked. So, a cause can always be hijacked and spun to fit a narrative of other or the other people that don't agree. So they'll say, let's say kneeling for the flag. Yeah, just imagine the Kaepernick thing. Perfect example. The media said Fox News and all these other entities were like, they don't respect the soldiers, but it was a soldier that spoke to Kaepernick and said the best thing you can do is actually take a knee. A soldier said that. So a
soldier said that to him.
A soldier told him to do it. So it became about the troops when he was saying, I'm not even kneeling. This kneeling thing is not even about the troops. This kneeling thing is about police brutality and the message was stolen.
And they said he was disrespecting the flag.
There you go. And it became about troops, this, that, and the other. Then if you do your research though, because you have to do your research in these things. They never had how about this? The army paid for that patriotism. So they gave the US defense military stuff, they paid money to the NFL to pay the national anthem because it was not something they'd done before. From 2000 and it was in the 2000s that happened. So this is never a thing. So this is what can happen with after time and it not being spoken about or just being left for public to decide. Madness. Horrible narratives created, and I think the narrative created on AJ that day is a disgrace. And that's the brush. That's the one brush that I can say where. And you saw me that episode when I spoke about Tyson Fury. I was disgusted with how he approached it because when we get into that thing about this buying, I don't know if you're ready to talk about it, Travis. If it's meant for the
we're
pod.
here, bro.
Go ahead. You go ahead. But I have a total. I see that buying black thing totally different to how what's the man's name in the comment section? Tony
Esquire.
Yeah, so he in his head
he took it on a very simplistic level when he's just like, oh, he's saying not to shop in white shops. That's not the conversation that we're having here.
Yeah.
Like when we're speaking about, it can you men are done for. Got in the comment. What I do like here is that even in the seriousness of a conversation like these nations and stuff like that, the space that I feel like we've created is so that people with opposing views can speak and it not turn into any corrosive, this and that. Do you know what I mean? And from time to time, I have seen some people who they're not regulars get into the comments and they take the energy of like other spaces and they start calling out and cussing names. Even some people have directed stuff at me. And I do my best to engage with people because I know that the conversations are the best thing, especially with our community in the space we created. We can have difficult conversations here.
100%.
So anyway, that's why I want to read You Man of Dunfor's response. So he said the white shops that we're talking about are major corporations. He says, the truth is, white athletes aren't that good at selling shoes. Converse tried Larry Bird. Nike tried Federer to average success. Adidas launched because of Run DMC, Spike Lee, and Jordan, and they made Nike boom.
And
These brands were popularized. He said these brands were popularized by the hood and profit of black culture. However, they don't give anything back to impoverished communities, which are majority black, both in the US and in the UK. It's capitalism, so we get it. More so, Nike shoes are made by 14-year-old Indonesian girls who get paid just enough to afford a bowl of rice each day. The used rubber is disposed in India and Africa, where some 11-year-old that has to sort it out is developing lung issues from the toxic burning rubber. These companies don't give a damn about anybody. So why in the world would I shop in their shops when I can buy clothes from a lady that sells clothes at the market? He goes, Palmer's Butchers, which is close to me, is run by a white family. They do fantastic meat and they do a lot for local charities. We happily support them because they benefit our community. We are not talking about them. We are talking about white shops that are here to exploit. Look at the latest JD advert with Virgil, Michael Dapper, and them, and all those guys. Who is that marketed at? My local Sports Direct has large posters of AJ and Benson Henderson at the front. They are here to just exploit the hood. Palmer's Butchers has helped more people in the hood than all these corporations combined. Black people are not benefiting anything from shopping at these major shops. This is what we're talking about. Keeping the money inside your community to help take ourselves out of poverty. That's not a bad thing to want. And he says, white people, please understand, when we say white people, we don't necessarily mean you. It was 99% of the time, we're referring to the powers that be, not regular white people who are in the trenches with us. Context.
That's it. That's perfect.
And I was like,
you man have done for...
It's a rounded comment.
It's a rounded. And you know what? There's something else though. You gotta say to yourself, and this is what we'll praise AJ in a second for what he's done with. He now has a champion, and he's now a powerhouse. He's now becoming a powerhouse within boxing as a promoter. That is a stable, creating something. But we're talking about in a lot of these places, a lot of these industries or institutions and stuff. Where are the black faces in terms of, on the baseline, a lot of black fighters here. But when we get behind the scenes, where are they? Who's calling the shots? Who's the man that's on the WBC that is their head? Who are these people? So you start to say the system you're called to this one point, and as a community, the community has to come up. And the problem is, with our community, we are what's the word? We are you know when you just buy, when you're consumers.
Money, yeah. So our spending power is very strong in the black community. So our spending power is strong, but our money doesn't return. Our money leaves the community very quickly. So the conversation on this, when it comes to somehow trying to address topics of race and stuff like that, and the lack of opportunities are presented in the community, is to essentially boost your own economy so that you have the ability to affect change. You can't really affect change without resources. Yeah. So when the conversation about racism and systemic oppression stuff comes up, you want to affect change for the better for your community. How do you do that? Money stops leaving the community that quickly, for starters. So when he's saying that in the shop, that's not targeting anybody other than dressing our own behavior by saying, yo, if we're going to be able to change our circumstance, it's going to have to start with, pulling back in that type of way. And sometimes the narratives get twisted and it becomes an attack on white-owned businesses. When it's not about that, it's not about you directly in any capacity.
And they're not even getting it.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, when these things get twisted, they can spiral out of control. But I think you man are done for kind of, some of the points you made there was really spot on, because it's not targeting the local butchers and people that we walk past and know. No, we're talking corporations that don't care about you, that we religiously buy.
Look at the Mayweather Gucci situation.
Yeah,
look at that. And you say to yourself, there's so many brands that probably deserve to be.
That's why I was disappointed.
There you go.
They made the racist designs and the racist comments, and Floyd was like, I want to buy Gucci. If I want to buy Gucci, and then you look at him, you say to yourself, all right, well, what message is that sending, bro?
This is it.
You're still giving your money, as you are money made, to a corporation that is against what you.
Yeah,
pretty much.
This is it, and these are the things that we're These are the things we're talking about. We've seen so many different clothing brands do even a lynching. There was one clothing brand that had a lynching type of disgusting. And they will they'll continually do it, and it's shock marketing, but the killer is they know we're coming back as a community. And what AJ was saying on that day was not really it was to us as a community to say, start empowering your community, because we have a certain way of how we look at shopping with our own, is what he's saying. So it was almost a message that you lot, I would say people that are not black heard and took their own piece for it, but it actually wasn't a message for you. It was a message for us to say, have some value in your community so we can step up.
And it's like, it's one of those things which is such a deep root, and obviously it's a great week of boxing, and we're going to get to the boxing content, but to clarify this point and not to leave things for gaps of, you know, misinformation, when people are talking about racism and the effects, sometimes the effects of racism are internalized, as in, I'm more inclined to trust the opinion of a white guy being my electrician than a black guy showing up to do my electricity. These are internalized views that people saying to you, white guy knows what he's doing, black guy, he doesn't know what he's doing. So this isn't now anything to do with the white guy who shows up to be the electrician. He's just doing his job. Black guy, he's also doing his job. When we're speaking to the community and saying to yourself, you need to start being able to invest in yourself, that is me saying, I shouldn't look at that black guy as he doesn't know what he's doing. I should be relaxed the same way I am with the white guy who showed up to do my electricity as I am with him, and not second guess his judgment when he says that's going to cost a bit extra, because that is internalizing. So when AJ is saying buy from your own, that's challenging that mindset. Speaking to your own community,
now you're talking.
Trusting the fact that this guy knows how to make jumpers and does what he's selling what he's doing.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't need your approval. He's doing it for real. So that's what that was about.
That's what the talk was about, and it got lost.
That's it. You can twist the narrative and make it seem, why would you say that about white shops? It's not about white shops. It's about the mindset that we have when we deal with each other. Like these issues are not present in, say, Asian communities, and you know, they don't have that second guess for yourself. That's what is being addressed here, and I think it's important that I'm glad that you and that's what's been missing. Because the funny thing is, you don't need to explain that to me. We know it and we feel it, and it's our lived experience. You know what I mean? So when you say, he's trying to do that, I think you could gather 10, 15 black people and they'll say that. They know what that thing is, but then we've never been able to articulate it that way. So thank you, Travis, for that. So big up to everyone in the comments.
And you man, you're done for. Thank you. And listen, Tony.
Shout out to Tony Esquire.
Thank you for the chat. I hope this was.
I don't want anybody with opposing views to feel like they can't say their mind. If you want to challenge me, challenge me. I'm not a sensitive guy. Say what you're saying, and we'll come back to it.
Let's get into boxing, man.
Let's get back to the boxing.
Sorry, we can't even do any more comments. Let's just
comments. No, we're in now.
Yeah.
So Okolie this weekend, the Source brought the belts. He brought the belt back, fam. I gotta say, I was so impressed, fam.
If you see what Eddie pays me,
you know I've been winning lately.
I'm a winner, baby. That's it. Because
credit.
It's the levels. Levels right now is the fact is that we saw Okolie win a world title at 16 fights, without even not saying looking his best, but I know that he has more levels. Better. No, I know there's more levels. I knew that it's because of the opponent not being on his level that we didn't even get super.
But it's, you know what? I don't even think it's just that. I think it's a case of literally learning each fight. And so remember, we sat down with him, and one of the things I remember saying to him was that, you know, when I see your videos and I see stuff doing the gym, sparring, even when you sparred Dillian Whyte, how you looked, you don't fight like that. You got all the attributes to be a certain type of fighter. And I know I'm biased to tall, rangy fighters who are slicker, because that's the style I like to watch, Lennox, Tommy Hearns. So I'm trying to, you got all the attributes. I'm thinking, do that. And he alluded to a mental block of being able to do certain things. So to watch the performance, you say to yourself, he's overcome the mental block and he's starting to be who he can be. Go on.
No, I was going to say, so even we spoke to him today on Monday Night Smoke. Well, you'll see this on Wednesday. When we spoke to him, he spoke about that specifically. He said, I listen to what people are saying. I want to hear and I want to show, I want to do something to show that I can not only do it in training, that's just everywhere. And the link up when you say talk about the mental block, the link up with Shane is we have to call it critical now, because he's now said, what did he focus on? He didn't say he's made me a better boxer style wise and stuff. He said his main thing was belief. Yeah. And he said,
in the post fight when he said, even just saying you can do this, champ, you got this, champ. He's like, I'm not necessarily someone who needs it, but it helps.
It helps. It helps. Yeah. He says the time for jokes and the time when we lock in and it's serious. And you could look how he approached this week. He was so nonchalant. Yeah, I was worried. I was thinking to myself, bro, the way he's just walking around this ain't the biggest night of his life. The guy was walking around casual, walked to the ring, his tunes playing. The bop is incredible. You know when it's like A1 bopping, it's like there's levels to bopping, but that thing there was like, yo, I know what I'm doing. I'm gonna come in here, mash man up, and I'll bop off the same way. I'm so relaxed, and this is it. So you say to yourself, the mindset is correct, and God help the fighter that goes in with him if he's feeling this way about himself, and if he feels, because as you talk about the Dillian Whyte footage, we saw someone in there that looked tidy.
That's what I'm saying. I was like, there's something in this, like it's like there is that sports anxiety thing that happens. I was a huge victim of it with my basketball days. Bro, I tell you right now, the basketball player I was in practice, and in the gym, different guy in the match day. I couldn't overcome it. I had glimpses. I had like it's mad. If I played for a team where I was the best player on the team, hella buckets, I'd be in my bag. But if guys were on my team, same level, I'd be happy to take the backward role and almost just let them take care of it. I couldn't get past that. Yeah, it's just what it was. So I know what that sports anxiety feels like. It takes a real pivotal moment and a process to get past it. So when you see that a fighter has that thing in them to bring it out, it's a remarkable moment.
Yeah,
because some fighters never come out of their shell.
Yeah, we've seen it. We've seen it many times. I like to say that
you know, sorry, just to cut you. You know who's a famous version of that? Audley Harrison.
Yes.
Everybody believed in Audley Harrison's boxing and all that kind of stuff, and it just never was there.
Did you see Audley in Prize Fighter? Did you see Audley in that Prize Fighter series? I couldn't believe how great he looked. He looked so good. I think he got the hay fight after that.
Yeah, it was probably after that. Yeah. But you know who else said there was a gym fighter in one of the, like Spencer Farron? It is a thing where some guys, it's just not there. So for him to be able to go from someone who hugs all the time and does all that kind of stuff and makes it boring and to now being an absolute banger, smart, intelligent in there, not too reliant on the right hand.
Patient. Using the jab, literally, and that's I want to see, because you know what's so crazy about the Gowaxi knockout? I don't think he got to hit him even clean, but with what he hit,
it wasn't like a straight down the pipe. It was a looping.
It was looping right. So now you say to yourself, what does that clean shot look like? If he lands that, how devastating can it be? You know,
man, you know what we have to do. We got to go back to that interview that we had with Adam Smith.
We have to.
When he said to us, you know, when you think about Okolie's like a raw Deontay Wilder. And we both just went, whoa.
But that was because we were just out of the hockey days still. We was out of the... We didn't understand, but it's...
But now let's look back at that and say, well, there's some credence there. In terms of...
But then I don't want to...
The looping size, but I say he's got the ingredients to be a much better boxer.
But then I don't want to jump the gun because I need to see it. The funny thing is, I'm not seeing him like... We need to see it land on someone. We need to see what it does to them. So
Glowatsky is a credible opponent and he sparked him out.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm talking about... I want to see it with a... I need to see it...
We just want to see more, basically.
No, because I believe he knocks out all the cruiserweights. You see how Hay was knocking out cruiserweights? I think that he can knock out cruiserweights for fun. I'm talking about does his power translate in the heavyweight division? Because that's where we're going. We're only practicing for the heavyweight division. Will he be strong enough to bang in the heavyweight division? And then we'll know if he's got Wilder, if he does have Wilder power. Because like it or not, whatever we say, Wilder, when it comes to the heavyweight division, banging in face, he'll get a guy on the floor. A man's going to sleep.
And it's interesting because a lot of people now are starting to kind of report on Okolie as a heavyweight who boils down to cruiser. And that's interesting because that does make a big difference, because when he does decide to go up to heavyweight, there's no limits on his weight now.
Yeah.
There's no issues with the class. So then you say to yourself, could there be more power? Could it slow him down? Like, we don't know what it's going to look like. But the ingredients that he has, he's built to be a heavyweight, in my opinion.
Yes.
He's what, 6'5", 6'6", really rangy, has power. So he's a good shape. He's got the good attributes to go up.
And don't forget, he used to be a big guy as well. He's had a past of being a chunky boy.
That's right.
Do you know what I mean? So
my thing is this, he's the tools he has going up to heavyweight. For me, there's more promise than Usyk's tools. Not because he's a better boxer than Usyk, but because he's built like a heavyweight.
100%.
And I think Usyk's issue is when he comes up with, like, we're going to see what he looks like against whoever he fights next, whether it's Joe Joyce. Do you know what I mean? But even then, he's still not scratching top level heavyweights yet.
I believe that we're playing down the influence of AJ. I think that's the biggest mistake that I think we're all making and we're all like overlooking. So this is where I bring in the AJ thing, even the way he walks off. But what was so nice about
that was a proper AJ walk off.
It was AJ.
That
but
shrug,
then, we do this. But what's so cool about his development is AJ was rushed. Literally, AJ became AJ in front of our eyes. Like he to make mistakes was very difficult. Where Lawrence has an advantage over AJ is he gets to do this cruiser work. He gets to develop in this cruiserweight thing and unifying and really becoming the guy. Then he gets another step up into the heavyweight zone. So you say to yourself, when he's got to 20-something fights, the finish article
is going to be mad.
With a tutor and someone that's done it before in AJ. Because look at it, even the branding. I've watched him, the way he's talking now.
Yeah. We've got to say, AJ's management company, 258 Management, they're on their way. Like, I was looking at the website. I think it's just gone live last couple of days, or if not, it's the first time I'm seeing it. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, AJ has gone through the process and he's absolutely learned on the way up. And you can see that his team and everything he's doing is very, very strategic, very smart with the guys that they've got involved in the picture. Like, I'm looking at the whole, like, the branding of everything. They've got the GQ magazine covers. They're talking about athlete brand development, and it's got the roster of guys. You got the whole staff. And I'm looking at it, I'm thinking to myself, okay, cool. So basically, you remember the system. As you went through it, you remember what it looked like.
Yes.
And now you're building your own.
Yes.
So you've got fighters who are coming up, Ramla Ali, Boatsi, Okolie, and these guys, and he's got the brand partnerships and the connections, sponsorships there waiting.
Yes.
Bam. AJ is about to become a staple in boxing.
Mogul here for good as well. And it's nice to see. And let's say like people like he had it right but late. Because you know with the Haymaker production and stuff, when he put on his Dave show, he's like, raw. But the problem is it happened too late. Now AJ has been watching, and we have to praise the people that have done it well. AJ's looked at Mayweather and said, this. Yeah. So yes, Golden Boy was there and stuff, but Mayweather really got his name out as being his own, like, it's me. Yeah, and AJ, we saw it. When he won his fight, what did AJ go and do? Went straight beeline, got out of the ring, went and spoke to Mayweather.
There's a business collaboration or something in the works, even if it's just mentorship. Something's going on with that relationship. There's even talk about Mayweather helping AJ in camp for the Fury fight. I don't know what that would look like for him, but I understand there's a relationship. But what I really enjoyed seeing when I looked at just to feel out 258 Management, I looked at it and I saw social media.
Yeah.
That says to me, you guys are clued up for 2021 onwards.
Yeah.
You're not stuck in the past in terms of just understanding and getting a grips. This is someone who, this is it looks from the quick look, overview that they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They know that fighters need good social media presence. They need the package, everything, sponsorships to build a star.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at, I'm thinking, Okolie's their first champion. Congratulations. Now what happens is when you get a staple of guys, and Boatsy, his career is going to flourish. I don't see why he doesn't touch a belt one day.
Of course he is. He has to.
That's what I'm saying.
For it.
So, and that's going to be, Okolie's the first of many champions. So AJ's career, when he decides to call it a day, he goes to sit next to Eddie Hearn.
Yep.
Because when Eddie Hearn is there, I'm hearing the respect level when they speak as well. Like even when he's like, you know, this happened, and shout out to 258 because and it's like you have to respect the entity that is growing.
You have to respect it and not. And you know what? Shout out to Eddie Hearn as well for not just, you're not in the way. You know what I mean? You let someone grow, and then offer them a seat at the table. Do you know what I mean? Or if you don't offer him a seat at his table, he'll create his own table. That's how the game works. Do you see what I'm saying? The more we need to see that, but I have so much respect for what AJ's doing and how he ends his career, because we're saying AJ's got like what 3-4 more fights. I see him I see him shutting it down. I see him, but then to prepare your next champion, the next guy in line to be Okolie.
So I'm saying it's a good move, man.
Sick. And I watched the video today, and I think Okolie's kind of understanding because he keeps saying he's not used to being champion yet. He hasn't sunk in, but he's making championship moves, even to the book. And his main thing now is about mindset. Now, that mindset talk,
and
his
think about
story's
the story.
a real story. Go ahead, you can tell the story, bro.
Think about the story. Like he said, 2012, he was working at McDonald's, Victoria Station, watching them men on the Olympics. Yeah. 8 years later, he's a world champ.
World champion.
The journey of all of that.
World champion.
What an experience.
And you know what? You can relate to that because when I was listening to him talk, it spoke to me, bro. Do you know what I mean? Because I look at like certain times I look at myself, bro. And obviously when we're on this pod, we always bring an element of our lives. Yeah. Today, bro, I encourage everyone to do this actually, because this is how we talk about not just generational wealth, but changes of mistakes. Yeah. I sorted out my life insurance today, bro. Yeah, I called you. First thing I did, I called Travis. I said, Travis, I hope you got life insurance. And then we had a little joke. I said, listen, if I go, my wife is lit. But then...
but it's real. It's a real conversation.
Yeah, it's a real conversation. But then I sit back and I look at the journey. Because now I'm thinking of legacy. And obviously I'm going to try and do more for my daughter and family as I'm here. But... to even be in this space when I'm on the phone and we're talking about my mortgage, because obviously I'm a homeowner and this, that, and the other. Bro, I grew up in the ends. Like, sometimes I can't believe it. Like, I sit in my house sometimes and then I'm like, wait, what? Because when I tell you that my mindset was focused on all the mandem that I had growing up around me. I grew up in Mysord. It was the highest aspiration I could imagine was getting the big whip. You know what I mean? Getting the Mercedes. There was a nice Mercedes that I wanted, but I never predicted all of this. And now I'm in TV shows. I'm up for mad awards, and this is happening now. I'm securing not only my future, but I'm actually preparing for my daughter's kids. Do you know how mad that is? That's why I'm preparing for my daughter's kids. And you say to yourself, so when he's talking, this is anything's possible. I feel it, but I want to give, because he says if I can do it, you can do it. And I talk to the people that watch this pod on a regular basis. I promise you, you can do whatever. Because one moment that comes to me is I didn't pass my GCSE. I didn't pass a lot of my GCSEs actually. A lot. But at the same time, if I was to go into school today and tomorrow, I used to fight anyways, long story. But if I was to go into school and tell my English teacher that I write for the BBC, he'd probably start laughing. But I do. And you lot see my tweets. Mad grammatical mistakes. But I know what's funny. Do you know
That's
what I
right.
mean? So now
That's
it's
right.
just to yourself. So I'm not the best. So I try to encourage and inspire the people that are watching our community and say, listen, you need to dig deep into who
It's
you are.
possible.
It's there.
Possible.
Your greatness is just waiting for you to unlock. And what the greatest thing of what about Okolie's done, he's unlocked it and he's reminding other people, champion.
It's amazing.
Champion.
Amazing.
Champion.
And it's like
Champion.
when I see people who are committed to passing it on, and it's like, because there's two ways you can process it, and this is one of those things where I like humility when it's just genuine. It's genuine.
Yes.
I don't like it enforced on someone.
Yes.
To the point where I won't like you if you don't be humble. I like it when it's genuine. That came across very genuine.
It's
to
real.
me. And it's like when you mention the stuff about, you know, looking at yourself in situations, bro, like just, you know, like a couple of days ago, driving with my daughter, and I said to her, I'm going to teach you something that's kind of typically expected for you to learn or know about as an adult. I'm going to teach you it from now. Credit ratings. My daughter's 10. And because I look at myself and I think I learned a lot of things on the fly.
Yes.
Like credit rating importance didn't connect to me until
all.
it was like, raw. Now it's a situation you need to fix.
Yeah.
So I explained to her about credit ratings. I said to her why I like to listen to old music. She says, why do you always listen to old music? I said, I'll try to get into the mindset of people who have made work that's lasted longer than their life. Marvin Gaye's dead now, and we're here, 2021. You're 10, I'm 33, and we're listening to his songs because he created work that outlived him. That iconic. So I tried to just to give her that mindset. Do you know what I mean? And you're speaking to the mindset thing, and I'm like, those gems. Everybody isn't fortunate enough to have those gems in their day-to-day life.
Yes. Yeah.
So when somebody gets to a place of influence and uses that just to put that across, I say, big up to you, bro.
I love it. It's
done.
It's an inviting energy. That's what I call it. It's an inviting energy, and it's so good. It's so good to see. I know he said that he's gonna he might be Deadpool. I don't know what kind of champion
I don't know if he's gonna be Deadpool.
I don't know if he's gonna be Deadpool.
I saw the music videos and them things that, like, he might be giving us a combination of a rounded. He's gonna be a rounded person. You know,
yeah. But I don't know, because again, when you get into different rooms, you have different experiences, and you have to you start to operate correctly, you know. And the funny thing is, he's more than he expected he was gonna be, probably. You know, now it's like when you have Eddie. Remember we said that we make that joke of being on a boat with Eddie Hearn and AJ on a boat, and then he's just on the. Yeah, we saw a almost version of Eddie Hearn walking him in.
He walks him in,
being close,
and the fighter must know it's different when Eddie Hearn decides he wants to walk in with you. You gotta know a subtle difference. It's like when you do comedy shows and you're used to going on first. And then suddenly, like, you see your name and it's like, it's second in the lineup. And then it's like, raw, you know, open the second half. And then it's just like, raw, Trav's closing. And then the man's like, raw. Yeah. No one's surprised by that either. Like,
no one's saying anything.
It's expected.
Yeah. It's a beautiful feeling still. Or I like the argument. I like when I let him close, man. You know, when there's bad boys in the room. Like, real bad boys in the room. Oh, I'm trying to get out of here early. No, close the show. like we can all say it. You know when you're not allowed to get into that conversation. When the man them are talking about closing the show and you're not that guy, get out. We don't want to hear from you right now, bruv. And that's literally, I've got so much admiration for how the mentorship and how it's from AJ going down, and it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see.
And it's interesting because we've seen a couple, now we're starting to get more character assessments about AJ. Like, we spoke to Slider Cuts, the barber.
Yes.
His barber.
Yes.
And he's talking about what AJ's like when he sees people and wanting to give those opportunities. So you can imagine what he's like as a manager.
Yeah.
Imparting that knowledge and experience and saying, listen, I've been burned in this game.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of rounded experiences. So this is what I've got to tell you. Fam, you're really prepared in a way that's special.
You're laughing. And in these boxes put it all on the line. So the boxers getting wise and clever. Like, again, I ratings to, again, this is like just an AJ appreciation and Okolie appreciation show. But no, but
it's
even
a big deal, man.
It's a big deal. But when we talk about is even the thing of boxers getting their own YouTube channels. Now I respect it. I love the fact that boxers go to IFL and Seconds Out or Boxing Social, all the great ones. Like, I like the fact they go there, but you have to understand that you still need to push yourself. So even now, look at the value of that content on AJ's page. It's the behind the scenes. You're getting so much more. And you say, all your fighters now, get on that. Get on that. Your YouTube channel, so important. In all them things there, that
Conor
engagement.
Conor Ben is doing a great job with his channel.
Conor Ben is moving correctly. You know? The exposure, the way I view Conor Ben now, I'm not even thinking about his dad. I don't think about Nigel. I'm not thinking about him at all. I only think about Nigel because like the last name might just come in there, but because we know
it's Nigel's son, but at the same time, it's not so prominent. I think that's the problem that Eubank Jr. has, because everything about how he approached the early stages of his career was very much me and my dad. I'm jumping over the ropes. I'm doing the same pose my dad did. I'm snarling at the camera like how my dad did. It gave us so much of a memory, and then he was the cornerman. And at times the cornerman stuff was very like just a spectacle. Like there's one corner I never forget of him. Nick Jr.'s sitting there, and they're not talking. He's literally looking at him and just posing, and then he just rubs him, and then he goes back and sits down. And I thought to myself, very Eubank, but at the same time, it's a spectacle. And so now Eubank Jr. is struggling to shake it. Yeah, and when you talk about dads, because just to go into another sport, because why not? We can. It's our podcast. Ball's dad. LeVar Ball, perfect. So LeVar Ball, his dad, totally involved in his son's career so much that I believe that he ruined his chances at the Lakers. That's how I feel. Now he's got another son. Yeah, he has LaMelo. Different approach, and he's different. He stepped aside, focused on the game. It's different, and his brand now is he will rise. They're talking about him being Rookie of the Year. Yeah, I mean, sadly he got injured. He's out for the season, wrist injury. It's just sad, man. But he's on course to be a Rookie of the Year. He's a tremendous player. But then this is what happens when someone knows who they are and allows them to be themselves and moves. And his thing is totally different. It's totally different. So with all these boxers and everything that's coming, you say to the boxers that listen to this podcast, don't play around with your social media presence, your YouTube presence. You're doing things that we want to see. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And you can own that to get more. So more sponsorship coming, because I'm tired. I get sad that boxers have to keep throwing themselves into the most dangerous fights. You know what I mean? Even just to get the look, just to get by. We talk about what's that guy? The English Rhino, White Rhino. What are we calling? Dave Allen. He has. If he was to ever even not just start a podcast, but his YouTube channel, the amount of people that will flood to see him and the sponsorship that can come off the back of it, it'll be crazy. But he hasn't really understood that. And I want all the boxers to understand that. There's more. There's more you can do to become a boss outside of the ring. And the thing is, the reason why fighters' money is always a good topic of conversation is because, we've seen so many go broke. 2, the risk factor should be why you guys get more. Do you know what I mean? Unfortunately, the way the game is set up, it's not designed for the fighter to be in control like that of their finances. These things allow you to have the control. Do you know what I mean? Like, we always look at things from a profile entertainment business space because we are entertainers. Yes. Do you know what I mean? So straight away, I can look at someone and be like, oh, this guy's going to be a success. I've seen comics, bro, where I've looked and be like, not necessarily the funniest, but all the ingredients of being a star is there. Yes. You understand? Yes. There is a formula in this game that works across genres. Yes. So with fighters, sometimes you take a look and say, yeah, mate, you got everything you need. If you can fight a bit, you're going to go. Yeah. And some of these guys need to start moving a bit more savvy with how they do things. I think the day of like someone just saying, I just love boxing, man, that's it. It's kind of passing a little bit. Sadly. Yeah, 100%. Even you got to really get busy. You have to do a step. You have to go a step further, and it helps you when it comes to negotiations. It's not a surprise
that Jake Paul, Logan Paul had Billy Joe Saunders on the undercard. Now, if I'm not saying that you have to beat them as YouTubers, but YouTube, everyone can have one.
There's something to learn from Jake Paul, whether we want to admit it or not.
There's something to learn from that strategy and that process. Study. The key is study. Study these people that have done it.
Check this out.
Go ahead.
Just something to put on people's minds. Imagine if Canelo had a big personality. The level of superstardom we'd be witnessing right now. Canelo is quite a boring person. His boxing is the only thing he can discuss.
He doesn't give you that much personality.
Gives you nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't give you that much personality. But he's got some. He's got some.
He's got some. He's not a wet wipe. But at the same time, imagine him with a big personality. Like, okay, let's do this. I'm not going to necessarily say Tyson Fury because that's like top end.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Madness. But like just someone who gave a little bit more. I don't know who else to really say. With that boxing ability,
Dillian, bro, everyone needs to respect him. We're going to talk about Dillian today. We need to respect Dillian's rise to fame, you know. Dillian got better and became a name. And even, let's not mess around, box office, as in we pay to watch him fight. Why? Because he sold us his personality. Those IFL sit-downs with Coogan, they're legendary.
Do a lot.
You meet the fighter, you get to know the fighter, you see the personality, you see the fun side, you see so many different facets to the character, and you say, I like him, I want him to do well. That's all you got. And again, every time they sat down and they done like a 45, I'd watch the whole thing. And that's why
Chisora is another one who does that.
Chisora is another one that does that.
They give themselves to the fans.
Give yourself.
You know what I mean?
And it's so, but then what we have to understand is Dillian was beaten by the hero. You know, he's beaten by AJ. So for the villain, because Dillian was the villain in that fight, the man then jumping over the ropes and doing this, for the villain to become the people's hero almost, or like a people's champ, you have to rate that. That's a strong attribute of him.
That's right. He's got willpower. That's that others haven't had to build.
There you go.
He took the road. He took the road less traveled.
The road.
He
took the road. So that's why I love Dillian as a fighter. He's like, in terms of heavyweights, you know, you say you love to see Chisora hold the title. Yeah. You need to understand. I want to see Dillian lift up the title. I want to see it because it's like you're a man. To me, you feel like a man of the people, but then you've done it the hard way and you've been brave. And I think sometimes bravery and hard work should be rewarded.
That's
it's not always. It's not always.
Unfortunately, life isn't fair in those cases all the time. But in this case, we do have a fighter whose career is currently going on. So we hope it has that type of highlight.
And he's got the big fight coming up.
So let's get to this fight now. Dillian Whyte Povetkin. What's the feeling, man? I'll be honest with you. Every time I think about it, I go a different way. On one hand, I say he's going to come in, blast him out of here and get it done. And the other hand, Povetkin comes in looking for his food.
I just feel differently. The one thing I can say is I know everyone talks about Dillian having the fear. Povetkin has really felt Dillian power. So I know we talk about fear, but Povetkin has felt those punches and he's been floored by him. Now a little part of him, while they both may have fear, I tend to feel differently. I tend to feel that Dillian's gonna tell himself that it was a punch from the gods, and he's gonna go in there with a different attitude. It's like you didn't really beat me. Go on.
I gotta ask: is it that good of a thing for him to dismiss what happened to him? Is it better for a fighter to dismiss how it went down, or is it better for him to amplify it? Because my thing is, I feel like it's better to amplify it.
No, so that way, it'll make you scared.
But you know exactly what happened. You know him inside out. You know that moment. You know that thing. You've worked on it. You respect it enough to address it. If you dismiss it, because I don't think when AJ said that was a punch from the gods, I don't think AJ dismissed it. I think he basically was saying, you landed a decent shot, but it caught me in such a specific place.
Yeah.
I was done.
No, but you know the flip side of it, because I think there's different people, like horses for different like courses and stuff. I think that's the line.
Okay, cool.
There's like, because when I used to get into beef, back in the day,
Yeah.
or if like a fight was arranged with some youth from wherever,
Yeah.
I don't want to know anything about him. Like, you'll get that one, hey, hey, his brothers did it from. I say, bro, don't tell me that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to know. Like, don't make him bigger than this is. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going there, and it is what it is. Do you see what I'm saying? Because if I know now that you're connected to this person and to this person and this person, I won't approach you the same way. I need to see you as, it's just another man that I need to, like, it's just another man that wants it. Do you know what I mean? So some people are different. For me, I don't want to go into, I have to tell myself, this is what it is. I'll get it done. Even though it's going to be hard, even though it's going to be hard, I have to tell myself that. And that's the only way I'll give the best of me in this moment. Whereas,
I feel like, obviously, when we give our opinions, we put ourselves in there. Like, so when I had my first boxing match, not that my experience is matching up with world level fighters, but of course not. I remember in the sparring, I was actually sparring the guy who I was going to fight in the real fight. And you could tell when the coach, when the guy said, all right, you guys get in, as soon as we got in with each other and just stood in opposing corners, he kind of was like, I heard him say, oh, actually, and then we all was just like, no, let's go. So we're sparring, and because I know I'm fighting him, I sparred a guy beforehand, and I was dealing with that guy mad easy. So it made me so cocky with how I was moving. I thought, I'm on form today. So I'm doing disrespectful things. Hands are low. I'm flicking a jab like I'm Ali. Like, it was just reckless. Tagging me with a shot. Boom. I went down. Bang. I got up angry. Now, I want smoke. Trainer says, no, that's it for today. Because he's like, I can see how this is going to go. So now, best believe, in the weeks leading up to the fight, bro, I remember, and I've got it in my head, he can put me down. So it made me train ferociously, bro. I was doing things I wasn't doing before that moment. I was running at 6. I was doing this stuff because in my mind, every minute I'm in there. And I got to sparring one time beforehand, but it was so cagey because it was like he didn't want to really engage. And I was cautious a little bit as well because it's like, I still remember that you could get it cracking. So the fight day is there now. I'm not forgetting it. In my head, I believe I'm the better boxer. And that was just a moment. But I have to respect he can do what he did before. So, you know, from my perspective, I had to make that a huge moment for me to respect it and be so locked in that it make a mistake like that. I think if I took the mindset of saying, I got lucky, I could get back into old patterns and make that thing happen again.
I hear that. So it's so mad how different you approach things. And my thing, again, like when we talk, I've never fought in the ring, but like I had a lot of fights. Do you know what I mean? Outside of the thing is, I was busy. Do you know what I mean? And stuff. And it just what was around me and stuff. So the fear, I've seen strong guys, like people that have like messed around with, played for and stuff, get mash up because of fear. Because you're not fighting the person, you're fighting the reputation. You know what I mean? And that's an issue. You know what I mean? So more so, I believe that Dillian cut from a cloth that's pretty much, well, he's grown up in the ends, really. You know when Off the Canvas was in there talking and saying, he was talking about his upbringing, and it felt like the line was dismissed, and it shouldn't have been, because you know that thing, upbringing is key, because Conor Ben almost mentions upbringing. He says, I've been in these nice sheets and but I will go and do this. The fact of him being in the have-nots, growing up in Jamaica, and then coming over here, having kids quite early and having to fend for the family, like, I'm fighting for more than you think I'm fighting for. So Povetkin, you're in the way. Povetkin, you're in the way of me having AJ paydays.
I feel like those things are slightly over amplified in terms of their importance. Like, I understand like the upbringing and stuff like that hunger, but it's boxing. Most men have that story.
I don't
so
know.
You're already in the mix of people who have come up the hard way. Because boxing is rarely, it's really something you just do for love.
Yeah,
let's face it. It started out as an opportunity for people who didn't have other real options to fight for their chance.
Yeah.
So when a guy decides that he's going to commit to boxing in the first place, he's saying, this is probably my best opportunity at success.
Yeah.
So when you're in that mix of people already, I don't think that puts too much in.
No, but sometimes I want to say, and
because all right, just to put the flip side on that, yeah. Like again, just to speak from my own perspective, like I'm quite an intense person in terms of when I have a target, I can lock in day and night and not think about anything else. It hasn't come from me doing that road and turning my life around and doing that kind of stuff. I didn't grow up like that. But I know once I commit to one thing, bro, I won't sleep. Like, I will be zoned in. I can't breathe. Like, I just have that trait. There are people who have that ability to say, you're my next target.
But where does that hunger come from? Where does that desire come from? Because that's something, that's an intent.
For me,
go on.
For me, I've always tested myself. Like, I've always want to know how good I am. So the only way I want to know how good I am, I want to do things that are difficult. So I want to be a stand-up comic out of nowhere. I'm a shy person. I'm really reserved, and I want to get on stage or front to see what it's like. I've said to my dad at 10 years old, I want to have a boxing match just so I know what it's like to have a fight that I know I'm going to have, as opposed to one that surprises me out of nowhere while I'm at school.
Yeah.
Like, this is how my mind kind of...
See, it's so mad. You know what I love about these discussions, is that how different but how similar we can both be. Because my thing is, bro, like you already know, we grew up with wheels and care early part of our life in Manchester. Do you see what I'm saying? And then because like unregistered fostering type thing. Yeah. And then after we had the years of just no mum. Do you know what I mean? My biggest thing of wanting to make it was because I didn't have a mother. So I was like waiting. I thought I need to do something to say I've done it without you. That was one of my key things, and I've made it to this point. So, and all the people that was like, there's so many, bro, when I tell you I'll never forget, there was a class here, because I never had shit. That's the deepest thing. I never had shit, but so the person I am now is completely, like my boys look at me, they're like, you're not the same. You've changed. You're not you. Do you know what I mean? But I ain't have nothing. So, I remember just being in a class and I couldn't answer trainers and all these other things that everyone else had. But I remember a math session when there was this girl that literally, she was wearing 110s, a Machino jacket. It was like cream and orange and stuff. It was kind of cold still. But they calculated how much all my shit cost in that lesson. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And I'm in there, and I'm like, I was always the guy, like, people didn't mess with me because I would fight you. But then I was the one that you could try to run joke on. So obviously even that level of my jokes had to get better for my retorts. And because I can't fight everyone. Do you know what I mean? So then there's been this desire to say, all these bitches, I'm going to prove you lot wrong. All these teachers that said, if you don't take this course serious, you're going to be nothing. I need to prove you wrong. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to, no one's going to tell me what I can't beat. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think sometimes, so I can relate to that energy, and I think it depends who has that really beating in them differently, that takes them to another, that'll take, because I won't stop. That's my dad, one thing my dad always says to me is, like, son, like, you're not the smartest. This is what my dad said, verbatim. You're not the smartest, but you're so determined. He's like, once you will not stop till you get it. Like, you're not stopping. And that's it. So it's so funny, and that thing about you locking in, I don't know, it's mad how we get here, but
no, it's real. Do you know what I mean? I don't know where it specifically comes from. For me, I think growing up, like, I don't know, like I've just always, I was a thinking child, a quiet child that used to just, do you know what I mean? My mum said to me, like, right, you was an only child for 8 years before brother and sister. Yeah. So my personality kind of shaped on a by myself thing. So peer pressure, all these kind of things, not really, they don't get to me. I'm quite happy to go the opposite way on my own. Do you know what I mean? If you look at me and my friendship groups, I'm not really a mandem guy. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm quite happy to just walk my own path and be cool. So it's like, I know that doing that kind of stuff, when you take your own route, you got to be so locked in for it to make sense. Otherwise, the alternative option is to fall into the fold, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%.
So I don't struggle with that because I'm very aware of the outside of it. But that's so back to boxing. When you have somebody whose personality type is like that, I don't need to have a backstory of road and the rough life and da-da-da. It's just that powerful thing is mine.
One thing I will say with East, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I feel like in Eastern Europe, boxing is kind of more culture than...
Yeah, but we also can't underestimate coming up hard in Russia.
Of course. Of course.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, because sometimes you say to yourself, you know, like, you see how in America there was a phase where boxing was a part of what American kids did. It was the culture then, but with the culture, we weren't creating gems. We weren't, because there was other things to do, and there was other things where you can get more money in. You know what I mean? So,
you know, sorry, me and my dad had a conversation a few years ago, yeah? Seth Mitchell.
Yeah.
There was a time when this guy was coming up and he was supposed to be like the next Mike Tyson, and he didn't prove to be that good overall. No disrespect to Seth. Like, he had some shape or something, but it weren't really there. And I remember having a conversation with my dad and saying, why are fighters not that good? And he's at that time, this was like maybe 10 years ago, maybe a bit longer. And he was like, that's because there's other ways to make money. He said, the NBA, NFL, people are seeing ways to go, especially like black athletes are seeing ways to make money in these things. Because there was a time when the NBA wasn't really giving opportunities to guys of color, like black athletes. Remember, there was a whole separate league.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And there had to be progress. So imagine in that time, man, I'm thinking, I got a big body, I'm strong. It's going to be NFL or maybe boxing. So as time goes on and people see other ways to make money, boxing is less desirable because it's a hard way to live.
There you go.
Then what happens?
Go on.
AJ, a star comes. And now the conversation is different. There's other ways to live, but they ain't shining like how my man is.
There you go.
And he's making peas. Yeah. So now we're back on.
There you go. And I think that something happens. Obviously, Eastern Europe, they took Klitschko's became the face, and boxing literally just went to Eastern Europe and it was just there for a long time. But what happens is
the generational fighters that follow the generation champions that close.
There you go. And then what happens is the other sports. So a lot of Eastern European fighters now, MMA, heavy. You know what I mean? So we're like, Raw, where's that guy? And now the new one that you're looking at is you're talking about the Hergovich, Babiches and stuff. But we don't know yet. We don't know yet. But again, there's that gap. So I do feel that culture, the economy, and what's hot, marketing, it plays a part. You know what I mean? And then story. But there's so many different little facets as to what makes an era or what makes a fighter go.
But this is why I always say boxing is political.
Yeah.
Because with society and economics, you pull one end, it affects this side.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes. Yeah. It's like I saw this random, like I read this book called Freakonomics.
Yeah.
And if you see the way society interlinks and connects, everything can be explained somehow. Like I won't get into it too much now because we've gone quite off topic for a bit, but it just shows the way society is interlinked. Like this guy putting more money into this level here, 5 years later, we see a massive spike in this type of athlete that comes up and we say, right, how did that happen? But the links and it's there, bro. It's wonderful.
What do you say on this? I don't want to spend too long on it because Eubank Jr., he's fighting on Sky Sports. He's had a nice, interesting journey round the houses. Don't know if Roy Jones. I don't imagine Roy Jones to be in the corner. I don't know what's happened with that. But then he's back at Sky Sports. I don't know if it's a one-time deal thing.
Yeah, but he's there under Sauerland brothers.
Okay,
so I think it might be a thing where it's like I'm with these guys, but them man have a relationship with you, so I can get onto the card. Okay. I don't think it's a direct Sky Sports link. Okay, it's interesting, but I wonder. You know, when you get that the dust is cleared, and we look at the deal and we say, was it a good move that we made? And if we're back at square one in a place of not being in a position of power, was it worth it?
That's the
We
question.
look at Junior's career and we say to yourself, it's mad. I fully like we speak so much. I'm sounding like you. That's you say to yourself. But you look at him at that time when he fought on AJ's undercard, the Spike Sullivan with that fight. And I remember thinking AJ and Eubank Jr. is a hell of a 1-2 punch on the lineup.
It's the best.
I love that night of boxing.
Yeah.
And everything else he's done since leaving Sky Sports hasn't felt worth it to me. PBC was a non-starter, so he wasted time.
ITB
I think to myself,
was a non-starter.
What does his career look like? Should he stay with Eddie Hearn back then?
You know what's so crazy?
I don't see how he isn't a household
name
star, bro.
Household name, just because there was ingredients, as you say, there was the correct ingredients were there. Unfortunately, poor decision making. You know,
Is it too late?
No, I actually had. You know what's so mad? I had a
so.
dream. I was going to tell you about it. It was before the Okolie fight. I was meant to mention it. I said I had a dream that I was talking to Junior live chat, and it was like he's like, "Ron, why'd you talk about me the way you do?" Yeah, that's the first thing he said. Yeah, and I was like, I just don't think you're doing the right things. Do you know what I mean? You know, I will tell a fighter, look, what I think. I'm not gonna same way you do it. I'll tell a fighter, look, I don't think you're doing the right things, to be honest. But I do. It's more a case of disappointment because I know you can be better. Like there's fighters I'm not gonna. Joe Cordina, I've mentioned him more than I ever will mention him ever in my life. I mentioned Eubanks and I mentioned Yard a lot. Why? I have high aspirations for those fighters because I believe that they're better than what they're showing us. Do you know what I mean? So you talk about the ones that you think, but you're better than this though. What you're giving us now is not even your level.
That was my Okolie stance.
Yeah, you're actually better than what you're showing me right now. And it's like if you just locked in, got serious with, and it all comes down to the stuff outside of the ring. Actually, all their issues, it comes to prep, and probably the reason why I probably dislike it if I do a deep dive on self, it's I didn't prepare properly. I've kind of gone skated my career on just gift,
natural talent.
But natural talent is only going to take you so far. Do you know what I mean? You have to lock in. You have to get the right mentors. You have to be serious in the thing, or there you go. You'll start to not like what you see in yourself sometimes in other fighters. Unfortunately, these guys are in another realm, and I'm looking at them like, raw, like, guys, like, don't do this. You know what I mean? Don't do this. And I hoped, literally, in that conversation, and that's why I'm excited to see the Chris Eubank return. I'm excited, but I hope with all that's in me that he's serious, he's listening, and he's ready to be humble, but devastating in the ring.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, I think, at this point of your career, you got to say, like, what do I need to do? Because obviously what I've shown hasn't brought me to that place. Remember there was a time he was training himself, apparently. I don't know how legit that was, but that's the height of ego where you say, I can do it my own self. That's crazy, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So hopefully he's at a different space in his life, just mentally as a man, out before boxing, as a man, and saying, okay, I want these results. I need to follow X, Y, and Z to get there, and I'm ready to do it all. That will show itself in his performance. Do you know what I mean? I do genuinely still, and I think I've said this, I would love to see him win a world title, just because I think I see the pressures that he's on, and even in his interviews, it's starting to leak out where he speaks about time's not on my side and these little elements. These are things that's on his head. Do you know what I mean? I think I would hate for that career to get to the end of it and he didn't touch a world title.
Yeah, that'd be sad. Actually,
it just feels like
that'd be sad.
On, man, that could have been better.
That'd be sad. Listen, we didn't get into their Amir Khan thing. I think we'll say that we can watch an episode and we can give a deep dive or give some level of deep dive.
Khan's reality show.
No, but let's not do it now. Let's not rush it because I don't want to do that. We got the May 1st.
It's gonna be on scene anyway.
We got so much. There's so much boxing coming. People, stay locked in with us.
This Saturday, we're gonna be here nice and early. We're gonna catch the whole card of Dillian Whyte versus Povetkin.
Chris
Yeah, mate.
Congo.
Chris Congo, bro, he's bringing it home. Bringing it home. I watched a great video of Chris Congo, him and Josh Kelly. Not Josh Kelly, Josh Taylor.
Yeah.
That they sparred together. Josh Taylor was speaking him up. He's like, I've sparred with him. He goes, I love fighting him. He goes, I've got to stay switched on when I'm in there with him. And I'm saying to myself, you sparring with Josh Taylor, world beater Josh Taylor, fam. That says to me, if you can hang with these guys and move with that space, then that says, yo, okay, cool. I'm very excited about what we're going to see from Chris Congo. I really am. I'm looking forward to it. I hope he gives us the smoke. He's promised us smoke.
He promised us smoke. He promised us smoke. Congo. Listen. Yeah, let's go. Listen, we're the Undefeated Podcast. I'm KG.
Real. I'm Travis J.
Let's go.
Have a good week. Peace.
Undefeated, yo. Always gonna go, you ain't.
Yo, people, thanks for watching the Undefeated Podcast. Make sure you
like, subscribe, share, leave a comment, and all that good stuff, man. This is the place to be.
I liked it still.
Yeah, same.
I liked it. Very nice, very clean.